All right, today we're going to start on Activity 4, Lesson 2, Angle and Angle Bisectors. We're going to apply the angle addition postulate to find angle measures and use the definition of angle bisector to find angle measures. Now, this is very similar to what we just got through with the segment addition postulate. If you have, one smaller segment added on with another smaller segment, it's the whole segment. So we're going to kind of look at the same thing here. So we're not really using a protractor, but we've already got this in here. So follow along with me, and I'll kind of try to focus a little bit in here and see if this will help. So TQP is 105 degrees, it says right there. TQR is 25 degrees. So RQP is 130, the entire thing. So using the results to describe any patterns that you notice, what is something that you notice there? Okay. Well, hopefully what you notice is when you add the measures let me move this over. When you add the measures of the two smaller angles, you get the measure of the larger angle. So TQP is 105, TQR is 25, and when you add those two together, you get the total of RQP, which is 130. Okay, so again, very similar to what we see in the segments, but now we're using them in angles. So we come up with a postulate if P is in the interior, and interior just means inside, okay? If P is in the inside or interior of angle RST, then RSP plus the measure of PST is the measure of RSP. So, all right. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to get a piece of paper here, okay? So I have an angle here. Oops. RST. Okay. I'm going to go back over here. And then I have another point P out here. Okay. So RSP plus PST gives me the whole thing. Okay, so on some of these, once you draw them down, you'll want to take a picture of it with your own pen and piece of paper and just draw that in. So RSP plus PST gives me the entire thing RST. So anytime you see angle addition postulate, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so let's look at an example. If P is in the interior of XYZ, and the measure of XYP equals 25 degrees, and the measure of PYZ equals 50 degrees. Okay, so let's start off with XYZ, and I'll use a different pen this time. So I have X, Y, Z. Then I have this point P on the interior. Okay. So it says if XYP is 25, so XYP is 25 degrees, and PYZ is 50 degrees, then what is the measure of x, y, z? Well, it's going to be 25. Measure of x, y, z is 25 degrees plus 50 degrees. So when I add those two together, it just gives me 75 degrees. Okay, so I'll go to insert image by camera. Take a picture of it and insert. Just do that right there. Now the next one's a little bit different, but the picture, I would keep the picture the same. I just change the letters. So I have RTD, RTD with point M on the interior. Very similar to the last one we did. So it says RTM is 40 and RTD, this whole thing, okay, is 65 degrees. So what is the measure of MTD? So if the whole thing is 65 and this part's 40, I'm just going to subtract it. 65 minus 40. So the measure of MTD is 25 degrees. So I'm just subtracting. So again, I'm going to insert. So don't make this too complicated. It's not. Be sure you're looking at the correct thing and you're looking for the right thing. It's the hardest part is being sure everything's in the right order. Okay, the next example. If H is in the interior of EFG. Okay, so H is in the interior of EFG. So I'm just going to, again, draw the same thing. Forgot the letters though. EFH or EFG. So I have EFG and H is on the interior. So just going to keep it the same order there. Says the measure of EFH equals 75 degrees. So EFH is 75 degrees. EFH. The measure of HFG is 10x. It's degrees. And the measure of EFG is 20x minus 5. So EFG, this whole thing is 20x minus 5. So it's the same process if I take this smaller angle plus this angle, it equals the whole angle. So I'm going to do 75 plus 10x. So this small one plus this small one equals the bigger one. 20x minus 5. Okay. So I have variables on both sides. I need to take care of that first. So I'm going to move the smallest one. So I'm going to subtract 10x. That cancels each other out. 20 minus 10 is 10x. Now I'm going to start working on getting this x by itself. So I'm going to take care of anything being added or subtracted. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So 80 equals 10x. And then I need to get rid of this 10 by dividing 10 on both sides. So x equals 8. All right, so let me go back. I found x, so now I'm going to look at HFG. So HFG was 10 times x. So x equals 8. The measure of HFG is 10 times that x. So that gives me 80 degrees. So I'm just going to take that, insert image by camera, take a picture of it, and insert that in. I'm just going to, I have that all written down, so there's no reason to type in there. All right. So we'll wait to do this one in class. So just be sure you get your notes done. Look at the small assignment that you have today. And if you have any questions, email me.